In a distant future, humanity has colonized the stars, but one planet holds secrets beyond imagination. A beautiful young alien girl, Zalara, from the planet Vera, embarks on a journey that will change the course of history. She meets a 30-year-old human man, Ethan, whose fate intertwines with hers in ways neither could have predicted. Together, they face challenges that test the limits of their courage and love. Witness an epic tale of discovery, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond between two souls from different worlds. Subscribe now to be part of this incredible journey. In the year 2478, Earth had long since become overcrowded and resource-depleted. Humanity had spread across the galaxy, seeking new homes and resources. One such world was Vera, a planet with lush green forests and towering crystal formations. It was here that Zalara, a young alien girl with shimmering blue skin and delicate silver markings, lived among her people. Her village was nestled at the base of the largest crystal formation, known as the Heart of Vera, which pulsed with energy and life. Zalara was special. She could communicate with the crystals, a rare gift that set her apart from others. One day, while exploring the crystal caves, she stumbled upon a strange device buried deep within the rock. It was unlike anything she had seen before, ancient yet advanced, with symbols that glowed faintly in the dim light. Intrigued, Zalara touched the device, and suddenly, images flashed before her eyes. Visions of a faraway world, of a man named Ethan, and of a mission that would change everything. Ethan, a 30-year-old human man, worked as a geologist on the planet Elysium, a lush world with vast oceans and towering mountains. His days were spent mapping the planet's underground caverns, searching for valuable minerals. One evening, while working late in his lab, he received a cryptic message from an unknown source. The message contained coordinates and a warning. The Heart of Vera is in danger. Find Zalara. Confused but intrigued, Ethan decided to investigate. He packed his gear and boarded a shuttle bound for Vera. Little did he know that this journey would lead him to a world far more complex than he could ever imagine. Upon arrival, Ethan found himself in the heart of a dense forest, surrounded by towering trees and glowing plants. He followed the coordinates to a small village, where he met Zalara. She was unlike anyone he had ever seen. Her blue skin shimmered under the soft glow of the moon, and her eyes held a wisdom beyond her years. Zalara explained that the device she had discovered was a beacon, sent by her ancestors to warn of an impending threat. The Heart of Vera, the planet's life source, was being targeted by a mysterious force, and only they could stop it. Together, Ethan and Zalara ventured deeper into the crystal caves, guided by the ancient device. The deeper they went, the more the air thickened with a strange energy. Zalara's connection to the crystals grew stronger, and she could feel the pulse of the Heart of Vera weakening. They encountered a series of puzzles and traps left by her ancestors, designed to protect the heart. Each challenge tested their skills and teamwork, pushing them to their limits. Along the way, they discovered that the threat was not just external but also internal, a dark entity that had been dormant within the planet's core for millennia. This entity, known as the Shadow, sought to consume the Heart of Vera and use its power to destroy all life in the galaxy. Zalara and Ethan knew they had to act fast if they were to prevent the Shadow's awakening. As they delved further into the cave, the walls began to shift and glow with an ominous red light. The air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to move on their own. Zalara's connection to the crystals became more strained, and she struggled to maintain her focus. Ethan, noticing her distress, took her hand and reassured her. "We're in this together," he said, his voice steady despite the growing tension. They came across a massive chamber, the heart of the cave system, where the Heart of Vera itself lay suspended in the center. The crystal formation pulsed with a weak, flickering light, barely holding back the shadow's influence. Zalara stepped forward, her eyes closed, and reached out to the heart, trying to strengthen its connection. Ethan watched in awe as the crystal's light brightened slightly, but the shadow's presence remained strong. They realized that to truly defeat the shadow, they needed to find the source, an ancient artifact hidden somewhere within the planet. Guided by the ancient device, Zalara and Ethan ventured even deeper into the cave, following a trail of faintly glowing symbols etched into the walls. The path led them to a hidden chamber, where they found the source, an enormous, intricately carved stone tablet covered in swirling patterns and symbols. The tablet pulsed with a powerful energy, and as soon as Zalara touched it, visions flooded her mind. She saw the history of her people, the creation of the heart of Vera, and the battle against the shadow long ago. The source held the key to defeating the shadow once and for all, but it required a great sacrifice. Zalara and Ethan knew they had to act quickly before the shadow fully awakened. With the tablet in hand, they returned to the chamber where the heart of Vera lay. The air was thick with tension, and the red light from the shadow grew brighter. Zalara placed the source near the heart, and the two artifacts began to resonate with each other, creating a powerful energy field. Ethan stood by her side, ready to help in any way he could. As the energy intensified, Zalara focused all her strength, channeling the power of the source into the heart of Vera. The energy field around the heart of Vera grew so intense that it nearly overwhelmed Zalara. She gritted her teeth, pushing herself to the limit. The shadow fought back, sending tendrils of darkness towards her, trying to pull her into its grasp. Ethan, seeing her struggle, reached out and placed his hand on the heart, offering his own energy to strengthen her. Together, they formed a barrier of light, warding off the shadow's attacks. Zalara's connection to the heart grew stronger, and she could feel the power of the source flowing through her. The heart of Vera began to pulse with renewed strength, pushing back against the shadow. Slowly but surely, the red light dimmed, and the oppressive energy lifted. The shadow's presence weakened, and Zalara could finally breathe again. She collapsed onto the ground, exhausted but victorious. Ethan knelt beside her, his face filled with relief and admiration. "We did it," he whispered, his voice trembling with emotion. Zalara smiled weakly, her body still drained from the immense effort. "We did," she agreed, her eyes closing as she drifted into a deep sleep. When Zalara woke, she found herself in a comfortable bed in a small hut near the village. Ethan sat by her side, watching over her with a concerned expression. "How do you feel?" he asked softly, his hand resting on hers. Zalara stretched, feeling the lingering effects of her ordeal. "Better," she replied, her voice still hoarse. "Thank you for helping me." Ethan smiled gently, his eyes reflecting the warmth of his gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you," he said. "You saved us all." Zalara nodded, her thoughts turning to the future. They had defeated the shadow, but there was still much to be done. The village needed time to recover, and the heart of Vera required careful monitoring to ensure the shadow never returned. Zalara and Ethan discussed their next steps, deciding to stay on Vera for a while longer to help rebuild and protect the planet. They knew their journey was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Days turned into weeks as Zalara and Ethan worked alongside the villagers to restore the damaged areas of the planet. They helped rebuild homes, replant forests, and repair the infrastructure. Zalara's connection to the crystals allowed her to monitor the heart of Vera's health, ensuring it remained stable. Ethan, with his knowledge of geology, assisted in stabilizing the cave systems and preventing any further damage. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and they found themselves relying on each other more than ever. Despite the hardships they faced, there was a sense of purpose and unity among them. The villagers, grateful for their efforts, welcomed Zalara and Ethan into their community, treating them like family. Zalara felt a deep sense of belonging, something she had never experienced before. Ethan, too, found solace in the simplicity of village life, far removed from the complexities of space exploration. Together, they shared moments of laughter, companionship, and quiet reflection, strengthening their bond in ways neither had anticipated. One evening, as the sun set behind the crystal formations, Zalara and Ethan sat together on a hill overlooking the village. The sky was painted with hues of orange and pink, and the gentle breeze carried the scent of blooming flowers. Zalara leaned against Ethan, her head resting on his shoulder. "It feels like we've been here forever," she said softly, her voice filled with contentment. Ethan chuckled, wrapping his arm around her. "Time moves differently when you're living your best life," he replied, his words laced with humor and affection. Zalara smiled, her heart swelling with warmth. "I'm glad we found each other," she admitted, her eyes meeting his. Ethan's gaze softened, and he cupped her cheek, brushing his thumb across her skin. "Me too," he whispered, his voice barely above a whisper. They sat in silence for a moment, basking in the serenity of the moment. The world around them seemed to pause, as if acknowledging the depth of their connection. Zalara closed her eyes, savoring the peace and the presence of the man who had become her anchor. Ethan, sensing her contentment, leaned in closer, his lips brushing against her forehead in a tender kiss. The simple gesture spoke volumes, a promise of the future they would build together. Months passed, and the village flourished under Zalara and Ethan's guidance. The heart of Vera continued to pulse strongly, its energy sustaining the planet and its inhabitants. Zalara's connection to the crystals remained strong, and she could feel the planet's heartbeat in every fiber of her being. Ethan, too, had found a new purpose in life, helping to restore balance to the planet and its people. Their bond had grown even deeper, and they often found themselves lost in moments of quiet reflection and shared joy. One evening, as they strolled through the village, hand in hand, Zalara stopped suddenly, her eyes widening with excitement. "Look!" she exclaimed, pointing towards the horizon. Ethan followed her gaze and saw a shimmering light in the distance, growing brighter by the second. "What is that?" he wondered aloud, his curiosity piqued. Zalara's eyes sparkled with recognition. "It's a ship," she said, her voice filled with hope. "And it's heading straight for us." The ship approached rapidly, its sleek design and glowing lights cutting through the night sky. As it landed in the village square, the door opened, and a figure emerged, tall, imposing, and cloaked in shadows. Zalara's heart raced as she recognized the visitor. "Mother!" she cried, rushing forward to embrace the figure. The woman, Zalara's mother, returned the hug, her eyes filled with pride and relief. "My daughter," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "You've done well." Zalara pulled away, tears of joy streaming down her cheeks. "I missed you," she admitted, her voice breaking. Ethan stepped forward, extending his hand in greeting. "I'm Ethan," he said, his voice steady and respectful. Zalara's mother turned to him, her eyes narrowing slightly as she studied him. "I see you found someone," she observed, her tone neutral. Ethan nodded, his grip firm. "He's been a great help," Zalara interjected, her voice filled with gratitude. "Without him, we wouldn't have survived." Zalara's mother, whose name was Leora, was a formidable figure, strong, wise, and deeply connected to the heart of Vera. She had been searching for Zalara, knowing that her daughter's unique abilities were crucial to the planet's survival. Leora's arrival brought both relief and concern to the village. While Zalara's connection to the heart had stabilized, the threat of the shadow lingered, and Leora had come to ensure that the planet remained safe. Over the next few days, Leora trained Zalara in advanced techniques, teaching her how to harness her powers more effectively. Ethan, though not a direct participant in the training, supported Zalara from the sidelines, offering encouragement and assistance whenever needed. Leora's presence reminded Zalara of the responsibilities that came with her gift, and she worked tirelessly to master the skills her mother taught her. Meanwhile, Ethan found himself drawn to the mysteries of Vera, eager to learn more about the planet and its history. Leora, recognizing his curiosity, invited him to join her in exploring the ancient ruins scattered across the planet. Together, they uncovered clues about the shadow's origins and the true purpose of the heart of Vera. The ancient ruins held many secrets, and as Zalara and Ethan explored them, they discovered inscriptions detailing the creation of the heart of Vera and the battle against the shadow. The inscriptions spoke of a prophecy, foretelling the rise of a chosen one who would unite the forces of light and darkness, bringing balance to the universe. Zalara felt a shiver run down her spine as she read the words. "This is about me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Ethan, standing beside her, placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Not just you," he said softly. "Us." Zalara looked up at him, her eyes filled with understanding. "Together," she agreed, her voice filled with resolve. Ethan nodded, his eyes reflecting the same determination. "We can do this," he said, his voice steady and reassuring. Zalara took a deep breath, letting the weight of the prophecy settle within her. "But what does it mean? What exactly are we supposed to do?" Leora, who had been observing from a distance, stepped forward. "The prophecy speaks of a balance," she said, her voice calm and measured. "The heart of Vera is the key to maintaining that balance. It is not just a source of energy, but a conduit for the cosmic forces that govern the universe. The chosen one must learn to wield both light and darkness, to understand the duality of existence." Zalara frowned, her brow furrowing in confusion. "But how do we do that? How do we control something so vast and unpredictable?" Leora smiled gently, placing a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "It is not about control, my dear. It is about acceptance. You must learn to accept both the light and the darkness within yourself and within the universe. Only then can you truly understand the heart of Vera and its purpose." Ethan, who had been listening intently, spoke up. "And what role do I play in all of this? I don't have the same connection to the heart as Zalara does." Leora turned to him, her eyes gleaming with wisdom. "You may not share the same bond with the heart, Ethan, but your role is no less important. You are Zalara's anchor, her guide. Your strength, your resilience, and your unwavering support will be crucial in helping her navigate this journey. Together, you will find the balance the universe seeks." With Leora's guidance, Zalara and Ethan embarked on a rigorous training regimen. Zalara focused on honing her connection to the heart of Vera, learning to manipulate its energy with precision and control. Ethan, meanwhile, trained in combat and strategy, preparing for any threats that might arise. Their days were filled with intense sessions, both physical and mental, as they pushed themselves to their limits. Despite the challenges, they found strength in each other, drawing inspiration from their shared goal. One evening, after a particularly grueling session, Zalara collapsed onto the ground, her body trembling with exhaustion. Ethan knelt beside her, offering her water and a supportive smile. "You're doing great," he said, his voice filled with admiration. "But maybe it's time to take a break." Zalara shook her head, her eyes filled with determination. "No, we can't afford to stop now. We're so close to understanding the full potential of the heart. We need to keep going." Ethan sighed, understanding the gravity of her words. "All right," he said, his voice soft but resolute. "But let's take a moment to catch our breath. We'll go further tomorrow." Zalara nodded, her exhaustion slowly giving way to a sense of peace. She leaned against Ethan, her head resting on his shoulder. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice filled with gratitude. "For everything." Ethan smiled, his arm wrapping around her protectively. "Always," he replied, his voice warm and sincere. They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of their mission settling between them. But there was also a sense of hope, a belief that they could overcome whatever challenges lay ahead. As the days passed, Zalara's connection to the heart of Vera grew stronger, and she began to experience visions of the universe's past, present, and future. These visions were both enlightening and overwhelming, revealing the intricate web of cosmic forces that govern the galaxy. She saw the battles between light and darkness, the rise and fall of civilizations, and the delicate balance that maintained the fabric of reality. Each vision brought new insights and challenges, pushing her to question everything she thought she knew. One night, as Zalara meditated near the heart of Vera, she had a particularly vivid vision. She saw herself standing at the center of a vast, swirling vortex of energy, with countless threads connecting her to every corner of the universe. She felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her, the knowledge that her actions could shape the destiny of countless beings. But she also felt a surge of strength, a deep-rooted belief that she could rise to the challenge. When she awoke, Zalara felt a newfound clarity. She understood that the balance she sought was not just external, but also internal. She had to embrace both her light and her darkness, to accept the duality of existence. With this realization, she felt a sense of peace wash over her, a calmness that had eluded her for so long. She shared her vision with Ethan and Leora, who listened intently, their faces filled with understanding and pride. "You've grown so much," Leora said, her voice filled with emotion. "You are ready." Ethan nodded, his eyes filled with admiration. "You've always been strong, Zalara, but now you're even stronger. We believe in you." With their training complete, Zalara and Ethan prepared for their final mission. They knew that the time had come to confront the shadow once and for all. The heart of Vera pulsed with a steady rhythm, its energy resonating with Zalara's newfound understanding. She felt a deep connection to the crystal formation, as if it were a part of her very being. Ethan, by her side, offered his unwavering support, his presence a constant source of strength. They gathered their equipment and made their way to the central chamber, where the heart of Vera was housed. The air was charged with anticipation, and the energy field surrounding the heart shimmered with an ethereal glow. Zalara took a deep breath, her heart pounding with both fear and determination. "Are you ready?" she asked Ethan, her voice steady but trembling slightly. Ethan nodded, his eyes filled with resolve. "More than ever," he replied, his voice firm and reassuring. "Let's do this." Together, they approached the heart, Zalara reaching out to touch the crystal formation. As soon as her fingers made contact, the energy surged through her, filling her with a sense of power and purpose. She could feel the heart's pulse, its rhythm synchronized with her own. The visions of the universe's past, present, and future flooded her mind, and she could see the intricate web of cosmic forces that governed the galaxy. She understood that the balance she sought was not just a physical one, but a spiritual one. She had to embrace both her light and her darkness, to accept the duality of existence. With the heart of Vera's energy coursing through her, Zalara channeled her power into the crystal formation, reinforcing its defenses against the shadow. The energy field around the heart grew stronger, its glow intensifying. Ethan stood by her side, offering his own energy to bolster the defense. Together, they formed a barrier of light, warding off the shadow's attempts to breach the heart. The battle was intense, with the shadow's tendrils of darkness reaching out, trying to pull them into its grasp. Zalara gritted her teeth, focusing all her strength on maintaining the barrier. She could feel the strain, the shadow's relentless assault testing her limits. Ethan, noticing her struggle, placed his hand on the heart, offering his own energy to strengthen her. "We're in this together," he whispered, his voice steady and reassuring. Zalara's grip tightened, her connection to the heart growing stronger. She could feel the energy flowing through her, empowering her to push back against the shadow. Slowly but surely, the shadow's presence weakened, its tendrils retracting as the heart's defenses solidified. As the battle raged on, Zalara and Ethan's bond grew even stronger, their combined efforts forming an impenetrable shield. The heart of Vera pulsed with renewed vigor, its energy surging through the crystal formation. The shadow's attempts to breach the heart faltered, its power waning under the combined force of Zalara and Ethan. Zalara's connection to the heart deepened, and she could feel the cosmic forces aligning, the balance tipping in their favor. With a final surge of energy, Zalara pushed back against the shadow, her willpower and determination overcoming its dark influence. The shadow's tendrils retreated, its presence fading into the void. The heart of Vera's energy stabilized, its pulse steady and strong. Zalara collapsed onto the ground, her body drained from the immense effort. Ethan rushed to her side, catching her before she hit the floor. "We did it," he whispered, his voice filled with relief and admiration. Zalara smiled weakly, her eyes filled with gratitude. "We did," she agreed, her voice barely above a whisper. In the aftermath of their victory, Zalara and Ethan returned to the village, greeted with cheers and celebrations. The villagers, overjoyed by their success, welcomed them with open arms, treating them like heroes. Zalara felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that their efforts had not only saved Vera but also restored balance to the universe. Ethan, too, felt a profound sense of accomplishment, proud of the role he had played in their journey. As the celebrations continued, Zalara and Ethan found themselves lost in moments of quiet reflection, basking in the peace and tranquility of the moment. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they had overcome the greatest threat to the universe, and their bond had grown stronger in the process. With a newfound sense of purpose, they looked toward the future, ready to continue their mission of restoring balance and harmony to the cosmos. Months later, Zalara and Ethan stood atop a hill, gazing out at the sprawling landscape of Vera. The planet was thriving, its forests lush and vibrant, its crystal formations glowing with a steady, reassuring light. Zalara turned to Ethan, her eyes filled with love and gratitude. "Thank you," she said softly, her voice filled with emotion, "for everything." Ethan smiled, his arm wrapping around her waist. "You didn't do it alone," he replied, his voice warm and sincere. "We did it together." They stood in silence for a moment, the wind carrying the scent of blooming flowers and the distant hum of the heart of Vera. The universe was at peace, and they knew that their journey had only just begun. But with each other by their side, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would continue to restore balance and harmony to the cosmos, ensuring that the universe remained a place of wonder and possibility. Subscribe now to be part of this incredible journey.